Hello, everyone. This is Luca Majno. We're back with Frank Gregory Ford in full force. This is Global News Update on TLBTV, courtesy of the Liberty Beacon Project, where we give you complete backstage, up-to-date info as to the developments occurring in our world today. And as I always love to say, ain't that the truth? Greg, good evening. How you doing?
I'm in fine form, Luca. I'm in a very foggy California, so it's perfect for a show tonight.
Right. There you go. I wanted to start with Snapshot, but I wanted to flag a warning that this is very graphic, what we're going to be showing. We won't be showing it that long, but it's very graphic, and I feel like apologizing for it, but I really don't want to because it's needed. What we're going to be showing is absolutely needed. And we appreciate everybody here. And we're going to start with a little humor as I start to share screens with Greg. Are you ready for this?
You bet.
This is me looking for you when our computers don't work. It's like, hello, you know? Luke, can you hear me? No, I can't hear you. Oh, no, don't got video. You're frozen.
Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have to talk a bit about this, Greg, and I'd like your input on this one as I start Snapshot, because what we're going to do is probably just get into this with a few more details. I'm sure that Greg already has for us. And let me just go through the pictures and we'll talk about it later, and I'll probably put the pictures back up. This is one of them. And they are brutal. These two are really, really brutal. And maybe Greg can make a footnote and a remembering of it. This next one is the graphic one that I really apologize for showing, but it's very necessary, I think. This is what the scene looked like. Greg, I stole a quote from you, and if this is MOSSAD, okay? And first of all, and in listening to the audio, there were different and distinct, machine guns firing. One can tell the difference. So Greg is going to be explaining the cyclic, I believe it's called, the speed and the sound of different weapons, and how you can tell them apart when you get to know them. For our quotes tonight, few are those who see with their own eyes and feel with their own heart. Very powerful, that I'd like to address later after we talk about all this, because I want to speak very briefly about the assimilation process and how the attempted genocide of the people. Here what you have, and this is I believe 1897, and it's a guy teaching the Indian from the book, from the Black Book. And to some people, it's probably one of the hardest pictures to look at because of intergenerational trauma, because of their living it, or their generation living it, or their ancestors or grandfathers, grandmother, you name it. But you know what? It's funny to notice, never have you heard of an Indian trying to manipulate or to convert the non-native. Never once. That's something to think about. Greg, I was feeling pretty poetic one day, and I saw this picture that we're showing on the bottom, and it just told me, start writing. And Greg, this is what came out. One day a man entered the forest once again, noticing how silent everything was. The trees, had stopped speaking to one another and outward. Could it be finally that they think that no one's capable or willing to hear them, that they simply shut down? No, this cannot be. So the man starts shouting, I stand for you, he says. I stand for you to protect you. I will speak for you to others. And after this long pause, you hear the trees asking, why? Because you cannot speak for yourselves, he answered, in a language that others can understand. I will speak for you because you are the elders, the only ones left who know so much more than I. This is what the warrior does. He defends the life of his family. and of all of his relations. So this is the picture that we were talking about. And I believe I'm close to ending Snapshot at this time for tonight, so I will stop sharing. I'm sure, Greg, you can't wait to tell us what you have been following on this shooting in Las Vegas.
Well, okay, it just gets worse. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now, by the way, I did want to mention on your footage and your description. Okay, you know, I'm of course half Scots, half Cherokee, and that is the largest minority, mixed minority in America. All right, so we do have some sort of status in all of this, but here's the deal: is the Scots, and you know, of course, they had the Druids, and what did the Druids worship? They worshipped the natural world and trees, especially trees. And they knew how to have a good time, let's face it. Hey, can you imagine any more fun than painting your body blue and dancing around naked under a full moon? Well, that's what happened was all these uptight Anglo-Saxon religions showed up, and what did they do? They said, oh no, you know, people can't have this much fun. Okay, I don't know where they got that concept from, but they got it, and they immediately started to subjugate, subvert, infiltrate, overthrow, battle, brutalize, kill, and I guess that's the idea of the Anglo-Saxon Protestant. All right.
Isn't that what they're doing today, Greg? Isn't all those things you mentioned? Everyone.
Right. Absolutely. And as my great-great-grandmother said, who started the first school for the Selagee, the Cherokee, on the Rose Reservation, she said exactly the same thing. Who's civilized here and who's not civilized?
Yeah.
After she had rode the Trail of Tears on a mule all the way from North Carolina all the way to Oklahoma. And that was her take on it. Who's civilized here and who's not?
Yeah.
She had actually seen the Scots slaughtered, driven from their lands by the Anglo-Saxon Protestants with all the self-righteous justification that the Anglo-Saxon Protestants could muster.
Yeah.
And of course, now, and I don't want to wear everybody out with all this, but usually I get this, well, hey, get over it.
Right.
Well, I come back with that, yeah, we got over it. And what has happened? This process is still going on right to this moment. Genocide, murder,
yes,
subjugation, subversion, treason, treachery. Okay, sorry, I don't get over it. All right, and most of my tribal members, they don't get over it. They remember. All right, especially when you're on the receiving end of all this wonderful character. Okay, that we're talking about here. They don't get over it. And for starters, you can ask the Hottentots, the Zulu of South Africa, okay, and who were they massacred by? And hell, the South Africans, even as I found out last weekend, even took to massacring each other just because it was good form. All right, you know, the Huguenots were massacred, you know, by the English, good old Anglo-Saxon Protestants again. And we go to South America, okay, the Guarani, okay, in the tri-state region, okay, they were slaughtered, they were hunted, okay, down, and there's still problems. They're still slaughtering them today. As we speak, as I'm saying this, they're slaughtering them, all right? South, you know, okay, of course, Central America, you know, there are no more Arawaks in the Caribbean now. They were hunted by the Spanish, okay? And the Carib Indians, they no longer exist. They were hunted by the Spanish and thrown down silver mines. Now, that was all done under the Catholic papacy, all right? I guess that somehow justified manslaughter of fellow man. I
Right.
would like to find out what animal species has ever done that to another animal species.
Mhm.
We refer to animals as somehow unorganized, murderous, manipulative, conquest orientated. Okay, what animal species has ever done that? Okay,
Well, Greg, what I'm doing before you change the subject, what I'm doing right now, actually, what I'm going to do after this show is I'm going to go look for my charter from the king to John Cabot, and
oh,
it
sure.
it explicitly says to take the land away from the infidels or the savages, or the heathens. There you go. And I'm showing it now, actually, because I went and looked for it. So here it is. We're showing it
Well,
now. This
all
is
right, thank you. Okay, and
the charter for John Cabot.
but remember, Native Americans have been practicing homeland security since 1492.
Right.
Right?
That was my
Okay,
shirt. That was
we're
my
very
shirt
proud of
today.
that fact.
I had that shirt on today.
Ah, excellent.
I can't wear
And
it because I have a rip right here because it's getting old. So it doesn't.
now, as one of my fellow tribes in northern Canada, the dog rib, okay, the dog rib Indian, okay, and then
Yes.
there's the Slavi Indians. Boy, they can recite every treaty that they signed with white Anglo-Saxons, and guess what? Zero is maintained and empowered today. Zero. In
Yeah.
1856, the Supreme Court said, look, we don't care what deals we make in the United States. We don't care. We don't have to uphold anything. Now, yeah, that's all very fine and well, but guess what? Donald Trump is running around the world now, threatening everybody and trying to get them to sign agreements. Oh, really? We can't, the United States government can't even keep an agreement with its very own people that were here before it was. All right?
Zero.
Zero. Absolutely zero.
They actually even
Australia.
said that they were proud of the fact that they were weaseling around, getting whatever they wanted with the Indians, and the treaties were the perfect way to do it. So there was never even any intent to keep the deal ever. So
Now, is there any reason why Kim Jong-un of North Korea should be thrilled and enthusiastic about cutting a deal, making a deal? Okay, where have we heard this one before? With the United States of America? Oh, yeah, right. Okay, and the last time we tangled with them, it was disastrous for us, and it was disastrous for South Korea. It was disastrous for China. Okay, I wish some people would pick up a history book once in a while, Donald Trump being one of them, all right, and figure out what this stuff means, okay? So, and then Australia, okay, look what Australia did with the Aborigines.
absolutely.
The quote, abos, all right? Now, I mean, they had pretty much cut their teeth by that time in Canada on how to subjugate these people. No more belief system, and no more clothes, no more family structure. Okay, it was gone. Okay, now show me any of these people that were redeemed, somehow made better this treatment.
Exactly.
And the thing is, if it would have stopped, sure, damage can be undone. It has never stopped.
They don't
right?
have any remorse. There's no remorse. That's what the Indians waiting for, and they won't get it because there's no remorse. They don't care. They're psychopaths.
No. I went to school medical school in the South Pacific. Okay, you want to see a subjugation of the Polynesians, and guess who it was by? The Anglo-Saxon Protestants, and a few Germans, by the way, were mixed in. Okay, an English fleet sailed into the harbor there in Western Samoa, and it was met by a German fleet who really liked being in the tropics, really liked the South Pacific, and the Germans decided they weren't about to tolerate having paradise civilized by the Anglo-Saxon Protestants. All right, so okay, now any questions on that? I'm sure there's always some folks out there. Oh yeah, we don't like what you're saying. Oh no, I read a book once, or I had a beer with my brother-in-law, and we figured this all out. I don't care. Okay, all I know is what I see. I try to relate to what I've seen, and the areas that I've lived, and
Yes.
the direct experience from that experience. All right.
See, this is why, Greg, this is why it's so important for us to know what you're thinking about the Las Vegas incident.
Yes.
And I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say on that.
Okay. Very interesting. All right. Very interesting. And when something looks too well organized, all right, too well organized, like 9/11, okay, for all of those who know and follow what we're saying here on the show, 9/11 was perfectly executed, all right? Those Israelis had several years to figure it out and put it all together and get everything aligned, okay? Now, what we have here is the next undiscovered country, all right, is the United States. Where are all those terrorists supposed to go? Where's ISIS supposed to go now? Okay, guess where they're coming? All right, folks, they're already here. They're already ISIS people.
You said that last month.
Right, right. They're already here, and now it really annoys the powers that be in the cocaine importation agency when they find out that they can be profiled too. It's not that tough to profile. All you got to do is figure out, hey, where is there a fat hog to be carved up next? Okay? And the biggest, fattest hog that they can carve up is the United States of America. And they have been doing it very effectively since the issue of Watergate, Richard Nixon, okay, the Vietnam War. They have found out that they can actually do it without any repercussion. Okay, I sent a message to Susan Landauer today. Yes, we are going to have a long talk, she and I, about what is happening with her case and why the United States of America and the intelligence services behaved the way they did. We're going to have a very long talk. I hope the agency got that. All right.
Hello.
So, yeah, okay. So anyway, yes, Las Vegas. Okay. Now, all this close monitoring that NSA has done, they know when everybody, sits down to dinner. They know when everybody talks to their girlfriend, they talk to their boyfriend, whatever. They know all about it, and they can supposedly produce a recorded conversation of that. Right. So let's see him explain how 32 weapons were purchased by one guy. All right. Thousands of rounds of ammunition were produced by and purchased by one guy. I don't buy it. And by the way, he brought in high-tech cameras and had the entire hotel wired, okay, for early warning system. This guy, this crazy nut, right?
Right.
Paddock, that's his name, Paddock. He wired it with cameras. He knew exactly where everybody was coming into the hotel. Even there was a hamper of some sort in the hallway outside the room. He had it wired with a camera, okay? He knew what he was doing. He had studied the angles, or somebody had studied the angles for him of the range of those weapons, okay? And let's face it, it sounds like that was the .223 caliber weapon, M6, they call it M16 round, okay? What, at 1,240 feet per second, something like that. Well, if I remember correctly, I'm getting a little rusty on this stuff. Ever since I had to sue the government for a breach of my human rights, okay, and for renditioning and torturing me. Yes, I would believe that the weapon that we heard firing from the upper floor, there was supposed to be two weapons firing, was one of the M16s, M16 type weapons, or CAR 15, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, standard assault weapons are the easiest to get a hold of and the easiest to adjust fire on. Okay, so, and they fire 30 rounds per second. And if you go back, and listen to those tapes, it was about, the main firing sequence was about 30 rounds per second. Okay, and they are accurate with open sights. Okay, I'm not saying he was using open sights, open iron sights. He was probably using a combat scope. Okay, fixed dot combat scope, and which means that he could hit anything he wanted to within 400 yards. All right. And I didn't see any indication of wind blowing. So he had a very lethal crow's nest to shoot from. Okay. Given the fact that supposedly he had no military experience, somebody coached him. Okay. Somebody set that up with a right angle. Okay. And for a 400-yard shot, 300 to 400 yards. Okay. Yes. And here's the other thing, too. I saw film footage today that actually showed someone on the 4th floor shooting. And it really sounded like a German, automatic weapon, okay, probably an H&K, Heckenkockler, okay, and it was probably, the higher cyclic speed, okay, one of the newer weapons, okay. They were about twice as fast as the M16 type weapon, all right. I clearly saw it. I clearly heard it, all right. So what we have here is a very clean false flag operation. We had the perfect candidate, kind of like Lee Harvey Oswald, okay? And look how long that's been going on, okay? Nobody can figure that one out, okay? In front of how many people a president of the United States was shot, had his head blown off in front of how many people, and nobody can still figure it out? Please, cut it out. This guy had the same issue. And on top of everything else, I was informed about 9:30, 10 this morning that yes, indeed, ammonium nitrate was found in the room. Okay. I think everybody and their brother, including my grandmother, knows what ammonium nitrate is used for. Okay. Most people don't know what its real reason is, it exists for. But the thing is I went to a school, okay, and I think I mentioned this last time, very interesting school in North Dakota that specialized in making shaped charges out of ammonium nitrate, okay? Ammonium nitrate, excuse me. Remember my basic chemistry here. Okay, ammonium nitrate, all right? So, and in his home, how many more weapons did they find in, what was it, Mesquite, Nevada? Okay, on a golf course. The guy lived on a golf course, for Christ's sakes. Boy, that blows the whole profile of these crazy lone wolf gunmen right out the window, doesn't it? And I think that was done intentionally. I think people were getting too good at profiling false flag operations. So they found somebody, and we assume that he was shot and killed. We assume that he's dead. We don't know, all right? No. We don't know. And that's why I want everybody to tune on Friday, October 6th, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I want them to listen to my interview with Kevin Barrett. You'll hear a lot more elaboration on this subject matter, okay? Good. From Oklahoma City, all right, to the Flight 800, from New York City, that mysteriously exploded, all right? Okay, you're going to hear a lot more about that. So, and shaped charges, okay, and explosives, all right? So that's what I have to say.
Well, Greg, our time is up, and I can't thank you enough, as usual. I just want to give you the floor for closing notes, and I'll throw my 2 cents in at the end.
Okay, well, all I want everybody to do is remember, what's our credo, Luca, about this show is don't believe us. Don't believe us. Don't believe this horse shit, this bullshit on CNN, okay?
Did he say that?
Don't believe us, okay? Don't. We want everyone educated. We want everybody to figure out how to research. And remember, it's very simple. You just have to have a memory. You have to be one of the chosen few of American society that can remember when something happens and do a correlation, people. We need correlating, collating, and correcting and communicating people. All right? That's what will save. That's what will save us. Okay? Because yes, the CIA is going to gut America, and it's really, really effective at it right now. It's very good at it right now. All right? So, remember, vote for Jesse Ventura, okay? And if Jesse Ventura doesn't make it, hey, I will put up my name to run, all right? I will put up my name as the premier member of the what the Bull Moose Party.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that sounds better than one of these wimped out, pimped out Democratic platforms, or oh my God, these cancerous old fossils from the Republican Party. Hey, Bull Moose Party. Remember Teddy Roosevelt. Okay. So there it is.
Good. Well, Greg, thanks again, and we'll talk soon on the next global news update.
Okay. Hey,
Have a
I'm
good
very
night.
sorry about this picture of me, Luca. I can see it now, and it looks like we have heavy fog moving in on the
No,
California coast.
actually, it looks like your face is getting redder because of the sun going down.
Well, that's the Native American in me coming out. That's all.
We're losing you. Yeah. Have a good night.
Okay, my friend. And best to all our listeners.
Bye.
Good night.